How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Asian 120 Japanese Cultures. That's the class we're in. Great. Yeah, welcome to class. Hope you're excited to learn about Japan. I'm excited to share with you what I know. I don't know everything, but I like Japan. I've been there a few times. My wife is Japanese, so she fills me in on a lot of stuff as well. I was just in Japan over break. Saw a lot of cool stuff. I'll put together a little PowerPoint of that trip. I like history. I know quite a bit about Japanese history. I also like Buddhism. Studied it from sort of the India side of things. My background is in more of India, South Asia and India, early India, and so Buddhism is part of that. So obviously Buddhism is very much part of Japan as well, which we'll talk about. We'll learn all about that over the course of this semester. So I'm glad you're here. Couple of things, just business stuff, syllabus. Take a look at that. I just uploaded a sort of syllabus overview. Please also take a look at that. I kind of highlighted a few things, some main points. Guidelines and formats, please follow those. Use of AI, I talked about that a little bit. Kind of overall structure of the course. The big assignment, you will have a sort of a project in this class, a final project, which is a paper and a presentation on any topic of Japan you want, and you need to choose that by week 3. So be thinking about that. What do you want to learn more about Japanese culture? So we'll talk about that. I'll walk you through that as well. And the syllabus, I gave a little overview. You can look at that a little more in depth. The other big thing, the other piece of, it's Lamaku. It's a new learning management system, as they're called, LMS for short. I'm learning it right along with you guys. If things come up, please email me. If you can't find something, or it's not supposed to be there, or there's too many things, just let me know. It very well is most likely my fault. So I will try to fix it the best I can. Hopefully you get familiar with the organization. Week 1 is going to look like all the weeks, each page broken up. You'll have the lectures. You can access the PDFs and PowerPoints of them, and any extra material for those will be in those weeks. There, I also added a student resources sub-module, I think it's called, and that's going to be just information for you guys. Anything that comes across my desk. What is in it this week? Announcements, I know. What else we have? Our framework. Do get familiar with that. Hopefully you've kind of maybe talked about that a little bit in the other classes. But the community college is, it is a college, and there are college classes, but we're trying to kind of like zoom out of that a little bit and look at how this community college is part of your journey, right? Kao is a story, and that's what it means. So, and each story has different phases to it. So you're just signing up for this class. Asian 120 is a chapter in your story. And each story has different phases. Right now, or if you look at the Kao framework, the beginning of it is the hua, the seed, right? The reason you chose to come to Hawaii Community College, or the reason you chose to take this class, what is that? What is that motivation for you? Okay, be thinking about that, reflect on that. And then right now we're in the ha'alele, right? The departure. We just started. So, be thinking about that. And we have a whole journey. We have 16 weeks together. And so we'll refresh back to this a little bit as we go, but kind of be thinking about that, right? That yes, this is a class and you're supposed to learn something. And I hope you do. I hope you walk away with some information of a better understanding of Japan, aspects of it, both what you learn in this class and what you learn on your own as well. Every class you get as much out of it as you put in. So put in the more effort you put into these classes, the more you will get at the end of the classes. So do that. So Kao framework in this is part of that. Is this journey that we're on, and this little bit of time, and that in the journey, the story of your life. Hopefully, Hawaii Community College will be a part of that as you move on. The other things here in the call frame or in the student resources are, the student announcements. So there's a bunch of there, and then also the UH Common Scholarship. Please apply for that. Everyone should. That's what scholarships are there for. So, so take a look at those. And then just kind of the information for this week. I have a little welcome about Japan. And then what is culture? So Japanese cultures class, before we even think of the Japanese part of it, try to kind of think about what do we mean by culture, because this is a very broad term. And I explained that a little bit in that lecture. And I put a little discussion post there too, that if you want to, it's optional, that's not graded, but I think it's a good way to kind of start thinking about these ideas. What does culture mean? What is culture? How do we define it? So be thinking about that. You can post that up by Friday. I'll take a look at them as they come in and give my feedback. There's no right or wrong answers, just what you think about it. There's also by today at 4, if you could do your student introductions, there's a little module on that. Again, Padlet link on there. I gave some instructions. If you open a Padlet, there's another link you can get to opens up more options. So you can upload a video. So just record yourself on that. You can do it on your phone pretty easily. What is culture? And then the big 2 topics for this week is the biggest part of, I think, of culture is food. The first time, if you want to know what a culture is about, look at their food and have a meal with someone. So Japanese food. I think a lot of people maybe are brought to this class due to food. So tell us, I gave a little bit of background of some Japanese foods, particularly like cuisine and how it's laid out. I mean, and again, I think looking at the way that Japanese food is prepared gives you an insight to a lot of aspects of Japanese culture. There's a purpose. There's an art to it. There's a care. There's care in the smaller things. Details are very important within Japan. That everything sort of has its place. And there's a purpose for everything, and you see that in the meals. The sort of refined simplicity, but also sort of a deeper knowledge. This idea that one thing I like about Japanese food, and I mentioned this in the lecture, is you want to have 15 different ingredients, right? And that these small things, but you put them all together, and it brings things out. In that case, a healthy, well balanced meal. So that's that. Talked about some different foods. Your assignment, your main assignment for this week is what is your favorite food? And don't just tell what your favorite food is, but start doing a little bit of research. How does it relate to Japanese culture? I mean, if you look into ramen's actually kind of a relatively recent addition to Japanese cuisine. So, sushi's obviously a little bit later. But again, on that sushi lecture or discussion there, sushi is there's different types of sushi. So what do you mean when you say I like sushi? What do you mean? Or what particular type of fish or seafood do you like? I mean, not all sushi. I mean, in fact, even like ahi, tuna, there's different gradients of it. Toro is the fattiest of it. So there's different ways, and so what kind of, when you say sushi, what do you mean by that? Or ramen, what flavor of ramen and what kind of things do you like on it? It gets a little complex. So I didn't want you to kind of, this class, take that next step, right? If you know something about Japanese culture, use this opportunity to kind of go a little bit deeper there. And then the reading for this week, Honen Tatamai, which I think is sort of a first way to kind of be thinking about first encounter with a different way to approach relationships and culture. The Western culture is very individualistic. What do I want to do? How do I get it? Japanese is very much more communal. How do we work together? How do we bring a consensus? And I think that reading and the readings in that module, I think it's a good place to start to really think about, be thinking about Japanese culture, what this stuff means. And all these readings are very short. So have read them on there, and they'll come up later as all these readings are kind of related together. So work through that information this first week. If you have any questions, please send me an email. And glad you're in this class, and glad you want to learn about Japan.